Hello and welcome to the third match in this best of 5. We have on the blue side, we have the Legends 27 with 2 wins under their belt, looking to secure third place with this victory. On the red side, we have Tanuki. 0 wins, but they are looking for this reverse sweep. They have been looking good so far. Just need to cinch the victory from the Legends 27 this game. We've already seen the Shen ban and the Fiora ban, both top lane oriented bans, one against super tanks, one against the more carry style top laners.
Fiora being a permaban in this series of 5 right here. Definitely a powerful pick in something you don't want to see. However, we've seen it be heavily countered before. Like, we've seen Darius just decimate Fioras in this game. Darius still being open pick and not banned in this best of 5 as well. Nautilus getting banned out as well, it looks like. Probably a good idea with the pressure he put on that Poppy.
Yeah, the Nautilus early game cannot be underestimated. With his shield, he not only can absorb damage during his during the time that is active, but he also deals more damage in an AoE around himself while he autos attacks. It is a massive boost to both his power and his defense. It is one of the strongest things that can be done. We actually did not see a ban from the enemy from Tanuki, as it seems they missed their duration period and did not get a ban in. A Graves ban on the side of the Legend 27.
Shocking that we have not been seeing Graves been in the ban list, as we saw from the last set of games, Graves being a force to be reckoned with. He is such a powerful jungler, able to stack armor and become this hyper carry jungler that is so tanky still despite building almost pure damage.
Yes, with his amazing scaling as he continues, he just becomes this absolute monstrosity, especially with his powers early game, with massive early game damage, especially when he can gap close and get his shotgun shells just firing all of that at his opponents, able to just chunk down their health in major ways. The Lulu ban, not entirely unexpected, as that has been a major force the past couple of games.
Yeah, absolutely. Lulu has been very strong in setting up successful team comps throughout this series here.
Speaking of Lulu, the counter last game that was played by the Legends 27 is picked up once again by them. The Nami with that incredible engage, disengage ult, and that very, sustained laning phase. We are, in all likelihood, going to see a support counter to her, and we're seeing a hover, and they're locked in. It is the new duo in League of Legends, the ADC and the support, Xayah and Rakan.
Both very strong characters on their own and not in the same game at all, but together they are even stronger with their empowered abilities when they are near each other.
Absolutely. Rakan, if he can get a massive tank to play around this game, he will have so much potential to further his own abilities as far as being able to use that tank as a launching point into the fights, and then using Xayah as an escape mechanism due to the extended dash range he has towards it.
And it looks like Legends 27 also looking to take a very powerful divey character such as Talon here, and picking up the Elise as well for that early gank potential, which is going to be crucial.
Talon is absolutely massive in mid lane. His potential to roam all the way around the map and get a lot of pressure, especially on the squishies that are present in the bot lane, makes him very potent for getting ahead early. And if the Legends 27 want to get ahead early, we have seen them do very well when they are able to take even a slight lead. The Elise, also a very early game jungler with a lot of pressure. It'll be interesting to see what Tanuki ends up replying with. I wouldn't be surprised if we see an Ivern, because that was not actually banned out this match, as opposed to the previous 2 rounds as well.
Also as well, looking at that Orianna pick coming from Team Tanuki, which has been a staple of their team, I would say it is not a wrong pick at all in their team comps, as we saw Orianna last game, almost going without dying once until the Nexus fell in actually the first game.
We see the Camille, that is massive engage range, which makes perfect sense with the Rakan, as the Camille and Rakan, if they can dive in together, will be able to deal amazing amounts of CC and get incredible engages from a very long range. The Orianna is definitely going to be looking to use that ult, more likely on the Camille, and then use the Rakan for a knock-up following into the Wombo style. Very similar to what we had seen from what they were looking for the first game. A Twitch ADC is actually really interesting and not as common of an ADC, but his potential to shred tanks and shred entire teams at a time is very comparable to Xayah's new passive when Twitch ults.
Yeah, and I think it's actually a really smart pick on Legends 27 part to go a bursty AD carry. Xayah being that, having that natural burst by pulling her feathers back and ulting, and just as we've seen before, destroying entire tanks and half their health bar. Twitch able to do somewhat the same thing and being able to say, surprise, and then popping out of nowhere.
Yeah, and this Yordle with a hammer Poppy they drafted has been absolutely phenomenal as far as the tank line of the Legends 27 the past 2 games. And with her ability to deal consistent damage and be able to take a lot of damage and abuse in top lane, and then even if she gets destroyed in CS, even if she gets just bullied constantly, as long as she doesn't feed, she comes back as this incredible tank able to change entire team fights. Rakan, we saw a Lee Sin as the pick for jungle, looking for that heavier damage early game rather than the more CC-based early game that Elise has with her very flexible nature, switching between her spider and her human form.
Yeah, Lee Sin maybe not be able to secure that vision because he is blind, but we will have to see about that. But looking at Legends 27's team, they are not going along the same line they have been these past times. They are looking to go, again, a pick-oriented comp where they are looking to lock down singular people, go for rotations, and take down individual lanes one by one, increasing their lead. Tanuki taking the role of that Wombo comp again this time instead of Legends 27, with that Camille locking down a singular area and Orianna being able to catch multiple people in her ult for Xayah to just tear them apart. However, it's going to be solely up to that Lee Sin and that Rakan to keep up the front line for Tanuki.
Absolutely. With the Camille versus Poppy matchup, we saw that in game 1, and what happened was actually relatively unfortunate for the Poppy. Poppy has a lot of ability to absorb damage, but unfortunately the Camille got ahead because early on in a trade, the Poppy died twice because they died, came back before the fight had ended, teleported in, and died again, barely able to pick up the kill on the Camille, only thanks to minion aggro that followed them.
Absolutely, and as looking for global presence, again, it looks like Tanuki taking up the double teleport this time over Legends 27, having that global presence and trying to be able to be at all parts of the map at all times.
Overall, it seems that this will be very interesting. Talon is actually number 1 in League of Legends for being able to secure first blood. He is definitely going to be pouring out a lot of aggression onto the Orianna mid lane early in the game because that is going to be his best chance of gaining a massive advantage in lane in order to roam. Elise, I think, will be focusing a lot of her efforts on that mid lane just to make sure that that Talon can get ahead and essentially function entirely off of roams and picking people off of his incredible map mobility and his ability just to skirt around the entire map, leaping over walls and coming in from completely unexpected angles.
It'll be interesting to see this bot lane of the Legends 27, seeing to be if they will be able to overpower these empowered Xayah and Rakan here with their synergy built in through the game and their ability buffs that they get from each other. Twitch, I believe, will heavily benefit from having a Nami as a support. The damage boost that Nami can give, as well as the speed and slow she delivers to allies and enemies, will be great for the Twitch to line up his rat-a-tat-tat and melt through teams.
Yes, and with the Nami and Rakan are very interesting. Both of them have a heal. Both of them have small poke and knock-up style abilities, with Nami's bubble being comparable to Rakan's grand entrance. Nami, however, I feel will win the aggressive part of laning phase because she has that far more impactful and far more frequent heal, whereas Rakan needs to position himself and actually do a successful attack at very short range in order to get that heal for himself and Zion.
Absolutely. All right, we will be entering the loading screen momentarily here, and we will be shortly getting into the game as well with our 3-minute delay. Looking at teams, which way do you think this goes in terms of lane matchups? Who is favored, do you think, overall?
In terms of lane matchups, I'm going to have to give it to the Legends 27. They are definitely looking, especially with Elise for the early game damage, and Elise plus a Talon, that is such a potent combo for an early game. Level 3 Elise comes in, if she can land the stun on the Ori, there is barely any chance for her survival unless Lee Sin happens to be in the immediate vicinity. Because Talon, with that triple proc, he has so much damage that comes out as a very powerful bleed effect. But as far as Wombo combo, if Tanuki can keep it even, they definitely have a chance to pull ahead. No guarantees, but there is definitely a lot of power that they have that the Legends 27 have utilized in previous games in order to continue that pushing that advantages.
And in terms of junglers, both teams taking them early gank junglers. It'll be interesting to see what lanes they exactly go for in terms of this fight. Lee Sin being very powerful, I think more so in a team fight scenario where Elise will fall off in mid to late game, certainly. Elise is definitely able to lock down a person, obviously, with her snare, and also do lots of damage with her multiple abilities that she gains from transferring between human and Spire form. However, Dragon Kick from Lee Sin is such a powerful move, especially when you go into a Ward Hop flash combo, followed up with the Q to land more damage. If it can be executed properly by Frederick, however you pronounce that, it will be detrimental to Legends 27. And it looks like we're going to be seeing a invade here from Tanuki, as we have been seeing with every game.
It seems that they are able to kill that ward that was placed by the Legends 27, and it's a little unclear whether or not they're actually going to be going for any actual